Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, the Bundy and the Oregon standoff, all 7 that were being charged with conspiracy, folks, conspiracy against the United States of America. They've been acquitted. They've been acquitted. Thank God for the 12 jurors of their peers who realized that you can't charge these guys with conspiracy against the United States of America. They were simply defending their land that has been robbed by the corrupt government powers of imminent domain. We're talking, folks, hundreds of thousands of acres seized by the government. They were given small checks that were just worthless amounts of money for what the land really was worth when you include the mineral rights, which they were not getting compensated for the mineral rights. They were just being robbed. Well, here's what happened. A federal court jury acquitted the anti-government militant leader Imminent Bundy and his 6 followers of conspiracy charges stemming from their role in the armed takeover of the U.S. Wildlife Center in Oregon. Now, Bundy and the others, including his brother co-defendant Ryan Bundy, cast a 41-day occupation of the National Wildlife Refuge as a legitimate and patriotic act of civil disobedience. According to prosecutors, they called it a lawless scheme to seize federal property by force. You guys know that's a lie. If the government's not there taking their land through corrupted eminent domain, I understand eminent domain makes sense when you're building a 4-lane highway or you're doing certain things. But you just don't seize hundreds of thousands of acres and say, we're just going to take this because we want it. And then sell the mineral rights off to the Russians through Canada One, a company that was established to help move the uranium, which could be then later used for nuclear bombs. I mean, and plus you don't even compensate these guys for the mineral rights. You know they weren't trying to seize the United States government or property from the government. They were just trying to make a protest. Well, in an emotional climax to the trial, get this, in the U.S. District Court in Portland, Oregon, Imminent Bundy's lawyer, Marcus Mumford, was tackled to the floor by U.S. Marshals as he became involved in a heated verbal exchange with the judge over the terms of his client's release. Get this, the trial is over. They've won, they've been acquitted, and yet how the judge determined he would release them, you've just been acquitted. But he was not going to let them go right then. And Bundy's attorney gets in a heated verbal exchange with the judge, a U.S. federal judge. The U.S. Marshals in the room have to tackle him to the floor. The verdict came hours after a newly reconstituted jury with an alternate seated to replace one of the panelists dismissed over questions of him being biased on Wednesday, renewed deliberations in the case. Jurors previously had deliberated for 3 days. The 12-member panel found the Bundy brothers and their 4 co-defendants, 3 men and a woman, not guilty of the most serious charge, conspiracy to impede federal officers through intimidation, threats, or force. They were found innocent. That charge alone carried a maximum penalty of 6 years in a federal prison. The defendants also were unanimously acquitted of illegal possession of firearms in a federal facility and or theft of government property, except for Ryan Bundy, of which the jurors were deadlocked on the theft charges against him. He still has that pending if they want to prosecute him again. So the Bundy brothers, the Oregon standoff is over, and these folks do not go to federal prison, but they had to suffer tremendously through this trial, being imprisoned and everything else. Also, don't forget, Lavoy Finnegan paid the ultimate price, gunned down like a dog in the cold snow of Oregon in an ambush on video, shot by 3 different federal officers, hands in the air. And yet that barely, I mean, I don't even think it hardly made the national media. It's really sad, folks. But this was to send a message. Even though these guys didn't go to prison, they've spent months and months and months in jail waiting to get through this trial. They're sending a message. The government is sending a very strong message. Don't you dare. When we come knocking on your door, you do what we say or else. That's the message. It's sad. Are we ever going to understand that the New World Order, the Illuminati, is raised its ugly head and continues to rise as I speak? Are you saved? Jesus is coming. Are you ready?